Hello everyone. It's been a while since I made a video, and especially a tutorial video, so I thought it was about time that I did that again. So what I have here is just a canvas panel. It's the thin, it's just from Blick Art Materials, Blick Art Supply store. Just a thin panel. I've had this forever, haven't done anything with it, so I thought it would be fun to try to make something, just a painting today. So this can be very intimidating, staring at this blank canvas panel. In fact, I'm feeling very intimidated just looking at it right now. So I find that the best way to start is either just to put some swipes of paint down, or else maybe even collage something. So I think that's what I would like to do, is do some collage. So I'm just going to take some of this Liquitex matte medium and put it over here. And I made these little papers out of, this is deli paper. Just doing some different swipes of paint with my brayer. Actually, I have another one that's on sort of a newsprint type paper. So I was thinking about tearing some of these up and putting them down just as a collage. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm just going to take this nasty old brush that's kind of been ruined, and I'm going to, I use it specifically for matte medium because at this point it's already been crusted over. And so this is just going to be very random. I have no idea what I'm not thinking about anything specific is what I'm trying to say. I'm just going to lay this stuff down randomly so that way I'm not looking at a blank canvas. I will probably fast forward this part just so that it doesn't get boring to you. Okay, this is not as intimidating now because I have something down. I really especially love the deli print ones because they are transparent and they just lay down really nicely, and the color came out pretty brilliant on these. I love these shapes. So funny thing, I'm sure most of you have heard of jelly plates. Well, I don't own a jelly plate. I would like to get one sometime, but I haven't done that yet. And so one day I was here in my studio and I was kind of just messing around, and I had watched a video of someone doing jelly plate printing onto deli paper, and I happen to have this, I don't even know what this is made out of, maybe silicone or something. My son actually made it. He carved it. He did this in like 5th grade or 4th grade art class. And then they did a bunch of printing with it. Well, so what I did was I thought to myself, maybe this would work as sort of a jelly plate. And so I used the back of it and I put paint down, and I used the the brayer, and used the deli paper, and it turned out pretty cool. I was able to make these shapes. I don't think it works quite as well as a jelly plate, but it was a good substitute. So anyway, that's just a side note. So here I have something here. I have sort of this colorful collage going on. So I think now what I want to do is maybe add some paint. And I'm not sure what, so I'm just going to sort of go with my gut here. I think I want to add some white. I know the canvas is already white, so why would I add white? But I think it's just going to add a good layer. I have a lot, so side note, it's probably a good idea to clean your mats and surfaces more regularly than I do, because I tend to get a bunch of crumbs, paint crumbs. So I'm going to take my scraper here, this flexible scraper made by Catalyst, which I totally love, and I'm just going to get it directly into my white, my titanium white, and I'm just going to sort of go over in between where the papers are. And I don't even care if I go over a little bit the papers. I'm just sort of wanting to add texture, wanting to add more of a ground, if you will. To what I already have going on here. You know what, I might even want to take my brayer. Let me see here. And kind of go over, I don't want to go over too much, but this is something I haven't done in a while, actually. So it's kind of fun to do something I haven't done in a while. I've been in sort of a, I was in a really terrible creative slump over the winter, and I was able to kind of come out of that and kind of got back into painting again, and then found myself taking another bit of a slump, and I'm not sure why. These things just come and go. I felt very unmotivated to paint. And now it is mid-May, and my children will be done with school here in just like 2 weeks. And so I'm not going to have a lot of time now. Of course, I knew my creative itch would come back. Right before they're getting out of school. Hopefully, I will be able to spend some time in my studio over the summer with them home. It does get a little bit crazy. I have 3 boys ages 12 down to 7, and so it's never a dull moment around here, that's for sure. Okay, I'm liking this because it's kind of looking, I don't know the word to describe it. Rough, I don't know. Raw, textured. And I like the way the white paint is contrasting against these bright spots of color. And I like that it's not perfectly smooth, that it's got, because of the scraper tool and the brayer, it is adding some really good rough texture, which is what I want. I don't want a smooth surface. Now I find it is always best to turn your canvas or whatever substrate you're using, to turn it frequently to sort of get a different view. because things will start to appear, at least with my style of painting, which is very intuitive. Sometimes I don't know exactly, like I have no idea where this is going at this point. I am just enjoying the process of laying down these layers. And we will see what will emerge. I don't know if it's going to be a character, a bird, a face, maybe something totally different. It is interesting though, as I'm looking at this, and I'll zoom in just a little bit, because I turned this, these two papers to me look like eyes. So right now, and this could be maybe like the nose and mouth, this could totally be like a whimsical character, or maybe an owl or something. I haven't done an owl in a while. And then if I turn it this way, oops, sorry, I totally get a different view. So I don't know yet. I don't know. But I'm going to continue on. I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and fast forward my process a little here and add some different, I want to add some more color. So I'm going to begin to add some little splotches of color. I really, really, really love these golden fluid acrylics. They're so brilliant. They are so highly pigmented that they just, the color is just brilliant. Anyway, specifically this Indian yellow hue I love. It's so brilliant. I used it in here. So I'm thinking, and I don't always like liquid or fluid. A lot of times I like to use the more heavy-bodied acrylic, but I have been enjoying using these fluid acrylics. And again, I am not really thinking about what I'm doing other than just letting myself go in the process. Just kind of doing some blending. Okay, I've added some paint, which I'm not sure I'm happy with this right now, but that's okay because I've done this enough to know that eventually it will become pleasing to my eye. So I added some paint, which, you know, have you ever used paper towel to paint with? It's actually kind of fun. I will use paper towel to blot up the water a bit, but then sometimes I use it to rub paint in or to use for stain or inks and stuff like that. So this is fine, but I'm missing a little bit the white. I really loved having that white, so I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and add some back. Now I know what some of you are probably going to say, because I've had this feedback before, is that, you know, I'm wasting materials, I'm wasting paint, and why would I cover up what I've done already? But the reason why I don't see it as wasting is because I see each painting as a story. And each canvas has its own story. And each layer is a part of that story, is a chapter in that story that will result in the end to something that cannot happen apart from all these different layers being put down. So, and sometimes you lay down areas of color and you just need to tame it down. You need to push back on it because it's a little too much. So that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm just adding back some of the titanium white because I wanted the color underneath, but I don't necessarily want it to be so bright at this time. So that's what I'm doing. Now this area right here, I probably should wait because it's still wet from the water. This is what I call the push and the pull. It's the back and forth of the different layers. I actually really like this now, this area, because you can still see the blue underneath there, but I've got this layer of white sort of roughly going over. I like that effect. And again, this mixed media way of painting and this intuitive painting is just really about what you like and what pleases you. And no one can tell you that. Only you know for yourself. So, sure, there might be certain techniques and different things you might need to consider as far as your color palette or balance and different things like that, but I would say, generally speaking, it's really about what you find beautiful and what moves you and what is pleasing to your eye. And hopefully then it is pleasing to others as well. So here's what I'm going to do in this spot right here. I'm going to add some of this blue, and I want to show you. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. So I'm going to just add a little bit of this paint. I find that I don't like these boards as much as I like stretched canvas because, I don't know, there's something about the texture of it that I don't like as much. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray this with water, and I'm just going to let it sit there for a minute, and then I'm going to blot it back up, and it will leave, it's going to leave some dots, and I love that. I do this a lot in my paintings. So, let's see. Well, it's not making the splatter dots as like I normally like them, but there are some there, as you can see. And I just love the texture that makes. Again, it's all about the layers and the texture. I'm kind of not liking this area up here. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that, but I think the white blended into the blue too much, and I don't really like, you know what, maybe I'll just spray some water on that area too. We'll see what happens. I probably could have put a layer of gesso down. That actually helps in this, but I didn't. Well, I'm not really loving that, but that's okay. I'll probably be going over it. Alright, so I am going to add some different marks. I'm going to use these Caran d'Ache watercolor crayons, which I totally love. I don't have a ton of them. I wish I had a whole set, but they are awesome. And again, I think I'm just going to fast forward this part. I'm just going to add, you'll see me adding some marks. I'm going to use a couple of different of these crayons, and I think I'm going to maybe do some alcohol inks and some different other marks, and then I will be back to say what I'm doing. Okay, I am feeling the need to step away from this painting for a little bit. I have, I think, overdone it a bit, but that's okay because it's all going to add to the background that I will come up with. And so I'm going to step away, and I'll come back at some point and I will look over this and see if there's anything that stands out to me as far as a direction I would like to take with this painting. And I just want to say that sometimes it is helpful to step away and sort of let it rest for a little bit, let it rest in your mind, and then come back when it's when you've had some distance from it, and take another look and see where you want to go with it. Because at this point I'm feeling a little bit stuck, and so anyway, but this is all about the process. So I will be back after I have let this sit here for a little while, and hopefully something will emerge from all of this. Okay, so it's the next day and I've had plenty of time to walk away from this painting. I'm still kind of looking at it thinking, I'm not sure, but this is all part of the fun. Anyway, what I think I want to do next is add a few stencils, and I've got these 2 stencils that actually a subscriber sent to me. Thank you, Christy. I have a peacock feather and these flowers, so I'm just going to do a little bit of stenciling just to add a few more marks to the page, or to the board, and then see where I can go from there. Okay, so I like these stencils. Added some more texture to my background. And I think I've decided that I would like to do the canvas this way. and that I would like to do an owl. My very first video that I made 2 years ago, can't believe it's already been 2 years, was an owl. And one of my other first videos, one of the first 5 anyway, another one was an owl. And so I was looking back on that and thinking, wow, I haven't done an owl in a while. And I had done this painting for a class I was in a couple years ago. And the artist that was doing that particular session did an owl painting. I love this one because, well, I think the owls turned out cute, but I just love the colors, and I love all the scratchy techniques we did and everything like that. So anyway, I was looking at this one, and I was looking back at some of my old stuff, and I thought, you know what, I want to do an owl. So because I keep thinking this looks like an eye right here, and so I think what I'm going to do is put the owl's face right here, and I'll just do a short little body and a wing, and then I don't know if I'll add another owl or what I'll do with it. But anyway, I'm going to start with the owl's face. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through me sketching the owl and all of that, and maybe I'll stop it at some point so I can explain what I've been doing. Okay, so I thought I'd stop real quick. I decided to go with the owl, as I said before, and I just wanted to use this section as an eye because that really stood out to me. So I'm just kind of doing a whimsical owl. I kind of had to go back and revisit owls I've done before because I haven't done one in so long. I was using my Kimberly 9XXB graphite pencil, which I totally love and use all the time. But I decided I wanted to fill in some areas with this Stabilo Mark-Sol pencil because it just writes really well over paint and on all different kinds of surfaces. But it is water soluble, so it will bleed. So that's one thing you do have to be careful and keep in mind. So because I'm using this, I will probably have to spray varnish in the end, because if I try to use a brush, it will activate that. I can show you right here. See how if I go over this with a wet brush, it activates it, and I'm not going to want that to bleed when I go to varnish it in the end. So, but I wanted to stop real quick because as I was starting to add paint, I noticed that my hand was tightening up, and this is something that I've been trying to be more aware of as I work, because I tend to be, I'm one of those people that presses really hard with the pencil. You know, when you had to fill out those standardized tests as a kid in school and you had the circles, I would press really, really hard and make mine really dark. So I've learned I do that when I paint. I tend to tighten up my grip, and I'm trying to be more loose. So when I realized that I was doing that, I just sort of relaxed my hand and just sort of really loosely started grabbing the end of the brush. I'm just barely holding on, and I'm trying to have more light touch. It's a little bit more free. I'm one of those, I tend to be perfectionistic, and I had to realize that I'm still learning just to let go, to be more free when I paint, and not to be so perfectionistic and not to be so tight. I like the looser feel anyway. So I'm going to continue working on this owl and tweaking the paint and adding little details, and I will probably do something with this background, not sure what yet. But anyway, I think I'm just going to fast forward the rest of this video, and you can watch my process. I don't need to talk anymore, I don't think. I say that now, but who knows? I may realize I would like to say something. So anyway, I'm just going to continue working on this. Trying to be more loose in my strokes. And I'll just keep adding paint and adding details until I feel like the painting is pleasing to my eye and satisfying and ready to be done. Thanks for watching.
My beloved is an ocean, teeming with emotion. I've been living underwater, 'cause I can't bear to be without her. If I were able to breathe her in, without the fear of suffocation, inhalation so sufficient, she would be oxygen's replacement. These lungs are so ill-equipped to contain you, so I'm adrift. Myself upon your depths. My beloved is a woodland with varied beauty in each season. Her revelations come in layers, from a distance too much nearer. Slipped beyond her borders is found delightful disorder. I find her perched to build a nest in, just to remain within her presence. These feet are so ill-equipped to pursue you, so I am tripped. No shelter, no hedge for defense. I am preserved by her glance. taste I am convicted of how my life is now so different. This heart is so ill-equipped to love you as I now wish. My words, my hands fall so short, and so I surrender all to love.